Okie dokie, let's go ahead and get started. We do have 4 lessons, 2 quizzes, 2 reviews, 2 exams pending from now until the end of the year, right?
Which is like
so. What? You see what happens when you're talking? I just said if you heard what I said, you get free hundreds, and nope.
When's the last day?
Last day of class, I think it's the 12th or the 11th. The 11th of December. So we have 6 class meets. Like we're gonna meet 6 more times. So we meet twice this week, 2 more times the week after when we come back from Thanksgiving, and then 2 more times, and that's it. So between these next 6 days that we meet, we have 9.3, 9.4, 9.5, 9.6, quiz 5, quiz 6, review for exam 4, take exam 4, review for final exam, take exam, final exam. I know, right? Now, according to your schedule, it says we're not supposed to review for exam 4 and we're not supposed to review for the final exam. But I don't know. Do you want to review?
Oh, yeah.
Of course you do. I knew you would. So this is why today we're going to try to get through 3 lessons. So on Wednesday, we just do 1 lesson. You have 2 quizzes and you receive a review for your exam 4 to work on it over the break. Then when we come back, we'll see if there's not any questions. What break, right? Okay, so sorry.
I was going to say.
All right. So, this next 2 sections are very busy because you have graphs and tables and everything. So we decided to print out, type up some sort of thing here. Because if not, you were going to take longer writing. Oh, let me copy the table and we're going to get through everything we have to. So it says the table to the right shows the average temperature in degrees Celsius for a town. Let's just say Texas City. Draw a line graph associated with the data. So if they actually, I don't know if they're actually going to make you do it. On the test, you might. So what goes down here when we're making a table? Is it going to be the months or the temperature? The months. That's correct. So this is going to be months. Now, we just put little marks, January, February. And they're supposed to be equidistant, but of course I have a problem with that apparently. So I'm going to take this word months away because I didn't leave enough room for my April, May, June, July, August, September. I feel like did something wrong, but I don't know. October, November, and December. So hopefully yours looks prettier, of course. Now, when we're going up, the temperatures are going from a 3 all the way to a 31. So we could go up to 35. Now, my recommendation to you would probably be if I go by 5s, how many lines do I need? 7.
I was like,
7, right? So it'll be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So if you want to make the little lines in between, you can. If not, more or less, you know where they're at. So for the first one, we have 3. 3 would be, now it's an approximation. So you don't have to be so perfect. Maybe mine's a little too high. Put yours a little bit better. February is 7. So it's like in the middle of 5. Then March, we have 11, a little bit above that. 10. April is 16, a little bit above that. 15. And if I have little lines here, like, an actual grid, of course, it would be a lot better. So we're just trying to be decent. 21. June is 28. July 31. August is 30. I'm too excited right there. Something like that. 26 for September. Then October is 20. And then we have 9. And then we have 3. So a line graph means these lines are just connected by straight lines connecting them. You don't curve them. You just make straight lines. So that's a line graph. So beautiful, right? So we're somewhat. Now, the question says, between which 2 months did the greatest increase was there? Oh my God, between which 2 months? Yeah, when we typed it up, we missed something. Where was there the greatest increase between what 2 months?
June, July.
June, July? There was an increase of what? 3. Now,
Between May and June?
it's going up, 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 up. What happens here? It starts to go what?
Down.
So would we even consider anything after
No.
July? No. Okay. So where is there the greatest increase in temperature?
Is it May and June?
Is it May and June? From May to June, it is what? 7. And that is correct. May and June. That would be it. And what month was the average temperature 4 times the average temperature in February? So this is 7. And it says, when is it 4 times that average temperature? What's 7 times 4? So which one has 28? June. So 4 times 7 is 28. That would definitely be June. Next question. What is the percent increase in the average temperature from April to May round to the nearest integer? Now here's the formula. Percent increase, the amount of the increase. So we're going from when to when? April to May. What is your increase from April to May? 5. So it says the amount of increase, that is a 5 over the original amount. The original amount was 16. So we put this into the calculator. You have your phones with you. 5 divided by 16, which is, I got 0.3125. Now, this is your decimal, but we're talking about percent. So what do I have to do? Move it twice this way. So this becomes 31.25%, but it says round to the nearest integer, that means whole number, which will stay at 31%. So that would be your answer.
Forget where I moved it twice.
Because anytime you go from decimal to percent, you move it twice to the right.
Just a little ring.
It's just a row, yes. And when you go from percent to decimal, you go 2 to the left. All right, so are we okay with that one? All right. Next problem, which even though it says number 3, it's number 2, but here we go. It says the line graph to the right shows how the average salary of MLB players of a Team A has increased over 12 years periods. Notice that the average salary is given for odd number of years only. So 93, 95, 97, 99, 2001. So that's what they're saying. It says, which 2-year period had the smallest increase? Had the smallest increase.
2001,
So 2001 to 2000 what? 3? This one? Okay. Is there another?
Could be 93.
93 to 95. Actually, 93 to 95 and these, they're the same. Now, how can you tell if it had the smallest increase? Because it is just like a little slant. If it's steeper, that means there was a bigger. So steep, more change. If it's a little slant, less change. Just for you to keep that in mind. So slants, less change, steep, more change. So which one had the smallest increase? It was 93 to 95 and 2001 to 2003. Those 2 times are exactly the same. So that's it for that one. Next question. When John turned 40 in 2000, his metabolism changed and he began to gain weight. Finally, 2004, he began to work out on a regular basis and changed to a more healthy eating habits. The following data table shows John's weight each first of the year from 2000 to 2007. Draw the line. I'm not going to draw the line graph. Let's just go straight to the point. But it says, what was the percent increase from 2003 to 2004? So once again, the formula is up here, but we need the amount of increase from 2003 to 2004, which is 30. So 30 over 240.
And why do we do that?
That is
That's
the
just the
formula
formula?
for the percent increase.
It's just a,
That's the formula for percent increase.
I see.
So 30 divided by 240 is 0.125. Once again, this is a decimal, so you change it to a percent. It becomes
12.5.
12.5%. If we had to round, it would just be
12. Oh, no, 13. Sorry.
13%. So look at the question, see what they're, if it says to round, then you round. If not, you put the 12.5. Now, most of the boxes, if they want a percent, it's going to have the percent outside. You just have to fill in the blank so you know, hey, I need to change it to a percent. So make sure you do that. Are there any questions on those 3 problems right there?
Yes, sorry.
It's okay. Talk to me.
So the C one,
Mm-hmm.
um,
This one here? The C? Or which C?
no,
Sorry.
I think it's the one above. Never mind.
Talk to me.
How you know? Okay. I'll have to ask you later.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Okay. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here for support.
You are.
Alrighty. Next one. The table below shows a number of community colleges in various regions of the country, and shown to the right, draw a related bar graph. So we did line graphs. We are going to draw a bar graph. And once again, down here would be the the region. So we have region A, region B, region C, region D, region E, and region F.
And why do those go on the bottom?
This is always going to go on your X, and this is always going to go on your Y. So it's always at the horizontal, always in the vertical. And we talked about X and Y in the previous class. Now on your Y, I have to go all the way up to 16, right? That's the largest number there. So you could go by 2s if you want to. If we go by 2s, I need how many lines? 8. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I could have done more space, but apparently I like to cram things. Now, a bar graph, you don't do dots. So the first one, it says, hey, college A is where? 12. So I'm going to go to 12, put a little line here, and draw a bar graph. That's your A. B is 11, so I go in between the 10 and the 11, and I draw my little line, and you go down. I didn't see that you had to draw bar graphs, but should be able to read them. Like, oh, I come here, it's like, oh, B, it's 11. Oh, A, it's 12. C was 9, so between 8 and 10. And then we have D is 16. We have E is 5. And the last one is 4. So a bar graph actually has bars. So once again, on your MyMathLab, this is what they give you. And then they give you a table and they want you to look at it and say, oh, A is 12. And you type in the 12. You type in the 11. And you're going the other way. So we're okay there. More like this. So given the bar graph to the left, I don't know why they put to the right, but compare the values of the totals indicated. So they already told you here that the total should be 51, but they want the actual numbers. So for this one, I don't even know how you read that. I don't know horses, but that horse right there, it's about how many? 12. Sammy is between 3 and 6. Is that more like a 4 or a 5? I'd say it's a 5 too. Emily is about
13, I think.
I think it's 14.
No.
Yeah. Now, if you're not sure, before you press check, at the very end, you add them up and make sure it adds up to 51 before you press check, right? Because maybe it was a 13. Ronan?
9.
9?
Mhm.
And Bill is
11.
So you could take your calculator and add, just to be safe, 12 plus 5 plus 14 plus 9 plus 11. 51. There it is. Any questions on those? So it looks like a lot of work, but it really isn't that bad. Now, this next one, this is a graph to this. This is supposed to read 1980, 1990, and 2000, but it got cut off when the copies got ran.
Stop.
Now, this is the box, which is this one, and that one. This is for the circle, which are the ones with the circle. So it says in 1980, the box starts with 434,000. There is no change, but then there's a change of 62,000. So what do you think you have to do here? Add those two together. So what is 434,000 plus 62,000? 496?
Why are we adding?
Because it's an increase. This is your increase.
Okay.
I don't know why it doesn't show it, but this is the change. So it's changing by 62,000. So we're increasing by 62,000. So yeah, so the new population is 496. Is that what we said? 496. Then from there, it's going to increase how much?
86.
86,000. So then that becomes 582. And you just use your calculator and add this to this. That's my new answer. Because they're saying the increase from here to here is 62. The increase from here to here is 86. They give you this part so you can figure out this part. Now this one, what's in front of this 63,000? Minus. So instead of adding, we're gonna subtract 63,000, which gives me 431. Then that's going to increase by,
75.
so that right there is,
569.
I don't know, she told me 506. I took her word for it.
But it's 75. I got 569. Yeah, I could.
So you took the 494.
Subtract it? Yes.
431 plus 75, right?
Yeah, sure.
So 10.
No,
506 is
you're
correct.
supposed to do the 494 minus
I think I just don't like the
63.
format that this is.
But
Yes,
no,
I
you
know,
add
it's really weird.
75?
No, so you do the 494 minus the 63, and then you get 431. So then you do 431 plus 75. That's what you do.
Okay.
that's
So-
my fault.
They're giving, like how in the previous we're like, oh, what was the increase from here to here? We said, oh, it's 2, right? Well, here they give you that part, so you're trying to find out if there's an increase, if there was a change of 62,000, what would this number be? So the change here is 62,000. The change here is 86. The change here, it went down, so that's what we're subtracting, the 63,000. And then here we're adding 75.
Then it makes sense. I just don't like the, it's just messing with me the way the table is.
I get you. It's just a little weird. It's very different. Alrighty. So that right there is 9.3, which is line graphs, bar graphs. Now in 9.4, they're going to cover circle graphs, which deal with percents. So it says 10% for fish, 24, 36, 22, and 22 and 6. So for the first one, we're just transferring the percents. 10%, 24, 38, 22, and 6. But they want to know how many of those shoppers, because this is the people who go to the groceries, and 10% of them buy fish, 24% buy chicken. Now, in the bottom, it tells you how many total people were at this grocery store, and it says there was 150. So if 10% of 150 bought fish, exactly how many people is that? 15. Now, how do we get 15? 150 times 0.10, because remember you change your decimal, your percent to a decimal. Now, how do you find 24% of 150? 150 times 0.24, and that right there is 150 times 0.24. How many people? 36. 150 times 0.38. 57. 150 times 0.22. 33. And 150 times 0.06. 9.
Oh, 9.
Make sure you put the 0.06.
Okay.
Because you need, when you move your decimal twice to the left, if there's only one number, you have to put that 0 in front. Now, before you press submit, you could verify by adding all these 5 numbers. Does it add up to 150? It should, but we could double check. Did it? Okay. Questions there? So we know how to get a percent if we have the total. Yes? Perfect. That was the first circle. Alrighty. A histogram, because I skipped a page because I was like, I'm not going to do that with them. That's just crazy. That's what I said. But anyways. Histograms. What happens here? When you do this, How are we gonna label this stuff in the bottom? What do you think? So in the bottom, we're gonna say this is going to be from 170 to 179. This is going to be 180 to 189. This is going to be 190 to 199. 200 to 209. 210 to 19. And 220 to 229. Now, how high should I go? 18 is the highest, right? So you do 18 lines, go by twos, whatever makes you happy. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 14, 16, 18. And it's the same thing as a bar graph, except when you use the bar graph, they only give you 120, 220, like one number. It doesn't say from here to here, from here to here, from here to here. So, and a little bit in the back, yeah, it's because you have to collect data, which is right there. So you'll see why they're different from bar graphs, but you do the same type of problem. So from 170 to 179, there was 4, which is here. Then you draw your beautiful bar graph, but it's a histogram. You draw your histogram graph. So from here to here, it's 7, 6, 8. It's in the middle. And go ahead and continue. Then there's questions. How many classes are there and what is the class width? So how many types of things do I have here? 6. 6 classes, right? And what is the class width? From there to there, what's 170 to 179?
Right.
Is it?
170 to 179.
Mm-hmm.
That's 10. Because you have 0.
Yes. It is 10. Like, yes. I was going to start using my fingers to count here. Class width is 10. Sorry. So that means the difference between here to here. Like 170, 71, 72, 73, 74, 77, 78, 79. Count.
We didn't bring it.
How many light bulbs lasted longer than 189 hours? So do I consider this one? Do I consider this one? So it's everything but these two, right? So I could just subtract what from here? 11, right? So I could do 58 minus 11, because that's what 7 plus 4 is, which is 47. So once again, they're saying longer than 189 hours. So that means all that right there. Not the 11. Or you could have just done the 14 plus 18 plus 10 plus 5. That also will give you the 47. So we could subtract the total minus the ones that are not, or we could just add all the ones that are. The
Why are you
answer,
getting 47
Who watching?
58 minus 11.
I know, but I'm like so lost. Is it
How many light bulbs lasted more?
longer than 189 hours?
So I'm adding, which ones lasted longer? This one, this one, this one, and this one.
Oh, because that's the between. Sorry.
Yes, it's okay. You blinked your ears and you got lost. How many light bulbs last less than 190? So it's just what? These two, which is 4 plus 7, which is 11. How many light bulbs lasted from 190 to 209? So we're looking from 190 to 209. These two, which is 14 plus 18, which is 32. How many light bulbs lasted at least? And that's like, do you know what at least 200 mean? So are we considering less than 200 or more than 200? Up to 200?
It says at least.
I know it says at
No,
least.
wait, so then that means more, right?
Does
It's
it?
200 and then
I don't know. What it's 200 and what? And above. So this at least, even though we see this and we think that looks like less, it means 200 and above. I used to always tell my high school students, your dad says, I'm going to give you at least $20. Does that mean he's going to give you less than 20 or 20 and possibly more? And of course they know he's going to give me more than 20. It's like, oh yeah, related to money and you get it, right? Of course. So that at least means we're talking about more. So how many of those light bulbs last 200 and above hours? These here, which are 18 plus 10 plus 5, and we said 33. Beautiful. So it just takes a while. The good thing is you don't have to do the graphs like I tell you. They're going to give you information like this. I don't see how this helps us. It just took our time, like honestly. Because you have the table and you could just use the table. We know that everything, does everything make sense? Yes?
I think it's just to show us how to read it.
Yes. So are we okay with the reading with this? Are we? Yeah? Okay. Now this one, it says, a math teacher collected data on how many minutes 48 students spent completing an exam shown in the histogram below. So here it is. And it says 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69, 70 to 79, right? Now, they want for you to go from the graph to a table. So from 30 to 39, how many students took that long? 9. Beautiful. From 40 to 49, how many? 11. 50 to 59, 8. 60 to 69, 15, and 70 to 79, 5. And if you add them all up, does it add up to 48? Yes. Okay. And there's still more questions in the back to go with this. It says, how many students spent less than 70 minutes on the exam? Less than 70 minutes. So we're talking about everything minus what? Everything minus 5. So what is 48 minus 5? 48 minus 5 equals 43, or add 9 plus 11 plus the 18. What did I say? 18. It's just what? 8, right? Sorry. You see? See what happens? Plus the 15. All right. So that also equals 43.
I like the subtracting better.
Okay. That's fine with me.
It seems easier.
I agree. How many students spent from 40 to 69 minutes? So from 40 to 69, I have 11 plus 8 plus 15. It's easier to subtract when it's just one thing, but here I think it's easier just to add. 11 plus 8 plus 15 gives me 34. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I'm not about believing my students today. How many students spend at least 40 minutes? What does at least mean? 40 or more. 40 or more. So it is what minus what?
48 minus 1.
48 minus 9, which is 39. How many classes were there? How many? 5. 5 classes, and what was the width?
10.
Very good.
10.
Funny. Class width is 10.
Tired of these jokes being at my expense.
Hey, I said 9 too earlier.
Boing, boing, boing. Alrighty. On this one, they give you information. So this one, we have to do a lot more work. So when you do this, you're going to have to tally up stuff. Do you know what the word tally means? Yes? Add up, right? So here we have the minutes, right? So we're going to have number of minutes. Here, I'm going to do a little tally. And here's going to be the number of students, because I think we're still talking about students here. So we're going to start off with, what is my smallest number that you see there? You see 30. Is there anything smaller than 30? No, right? We'll do 30 to 39 since they've been doing class width of 10. We're going to do 40 to 49. And it says here, make your frequency distribution table with a small class starting with 30 and a class width of 10. So that's why we're doing 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69, and 70 to 79. So here we go. First number is 47. So where does that fall into? So I'm going to tally just one. 31 goes on the top. 41 here. 73. 40. 42. 56. 44. It's been a while since I do these little. Anyways, 43, 47, 50, 37, 51, 47, 73, 38. Nope. Okay. So I'm in the third row barely. 51. Should I just be quiet? You're good? All right, good.
Oh. I'll turn it on. You turn it off. Wait a minute. Yeah, I fixed it, I didn't change it.
I feel like I missed this entire row. I think I did. Okay.
I have 15 photos.
Okay. Now I'm done. Okay, so that is what? 5, 15, 8, 13, and 7. Does that add up to 48? Because it does tell you a total right there. It says 48 students. Yes? Okay. Now, they would ask you to make a graph. We're not going to make it.
Okay.
But because we already have the little numbers here, so we're good. But for sure, you need to know how to go from here to here. I think there's 2 questions where they give you data like this and you have to do this. How many students spend less than 70 minutes on the exam? Less than 70 minutes. So it's everybody but 7. So 48 minus 7 is 41. 41 students. How many students spend between 40 and 69? So I have 15 plus 8 plus 13, which is 36. Sounds good. How many students spent at least 40 minutes? That means 40 or more. So it's everybody but what? But 5. So that right there is 43. So the work for 9394 is just going to be a lot of this. Your quiz is the same type of problems. They're not harder than this or more complicated than this. If there is, you send me an email and say, number 5 was ridiculous. It had nothing to do with what we covered or the problems. But I went and quickly looked through them and they look the same. So I think you should be able to do 93, 94, and quiz 5. Quiz, I think it is 5. What? Talk to me.
Is later when you had that one that said review the quiz?
The quiz 4? Did y'all do quiz 4?
No, I'm saying remember.
It's what you were telling me earlier today. That's exam 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So don't worry about that review. It's just extra stuff, but it shouldn't.
Okay.
Great. Not good. Alrighty. So we're okay with this.
Yes.
Perfect. Now, 9.5. Everybody has this paper? 9.5, we're going to talk about mean, median, and mode. Have y'all heard those 3 before?
Yes.
Mean is the same thing as average. How do you find the average? The sum of all the data values divided by the total number of data values collected. So here, I have 4 25-point quizzes. If I'm trying to find the average, what do I do with those 4 numbers? Add them. So I have 17 plus 24 plus 16 plus 21. And I'm supposed to divide by how many? 4. So you have your cell phones, your calculators. 17 plus 24 plus 16 plus 21. What did you get?
19.5.
Oh, you already divided. My goodness. So 78 divided by 4, which is a 19.5. If it's set to round, you would round this up to a 20. I don't know if it's going to say round or not. It's up to them. So this one, same thing. 41 plus 37 plus 33 plus 39 plus 42 plus 37. I think I missed the number. Which I'll get when you add those.
229?
Is it?
That's what I thought.
Okay, I could be wrong.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, 229, I did it.
Okay. 229 divided by 6, which rounds to, or was it 38.16? So that would just be a 38 or 38.2. It just depends on the teacher if they're going to round, not round, or what's going on. So, mean, you've used it, I think. Sometimes you use that more than the other ones. Median. You have to list the data from lowest to highest and find the middle number. If there's two numbers in the middle, then you add and divide by 2. So we look at this list of numbers. We have 9 quiz scores, and we have to put them what first?
In order.
In order. So which one's your smallest?
2.
So I have 2, comma. Oh, you see, I was already skipping the 4. And it's recommended that you cross them out as you use them. 5, 5, and then 6.
No, 6, 8, 9.
There's an 8. There's how many 9s? 2, and then there's a 10. And I would go back and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. Now we need to find the number in the middle. Now, I have students who like to cross one from the front, one from the back, one from the front, one from the back, one from the front, back, and I end up with a
6.
6 is your median. Beautiful, right? All right. Then I have the ages of 14 students.
Oh, okay.
Smallest is 18. How many times is 18 there? Twice. So we cross out both from the top. And then I have 19 once. And then 21.
21, 21.
How many 21s are there?
2.
2, right? And then
22, 22.
22 twice. And then 23 once. Then 24 once. And then 25 once. 26 once. 28. And then 39 once and 42 once. Go back and just check that you wrote them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Perfect. One from the front, one from the back, one from the back, one from the front, back, front, back, front, back, front, back. Oh crap. How many numbers do you have in the middle? 2. Because you have 2 numbers, it said you add and divide by 2. So what is 22 plus 23 divided by 2? 45 divided by 2, which is a 22 and a half. Sorry, 45 divided by 2.
I thought you said 42.
I'm sorry, that's 45 divided by 2. So if it's just a number in the middle, that's it. If not, you have to do that addition thing, okay?
It was 22.
Yes, 22.5. Now, for your mode.
This is better.
Oh, it's not real. I'm sorry.
This is better.
It's not real. It's
Find the mode. Now, what is the mode? Mode is the number that occurs the most. That means the one that shows up the most. So when we look at when we look at A, which number shows up the most? 3. 3 is the mode. When we look at B, which number shows up the most? 6 and 9. So I have 6 and 9. It's not a competition. We have to put them both. Now let's see who wins. So 6 is there twice. 9 is there twice. So 6 and 9. How about in D?
None.
So there is no mode. So those are the 3 things that could happen in this one. 3 is mode, 6 and 9 are mode, or there is no mode. Are we good there?
Yes.
Yes? Questions? No? All right. This one. So this is a problem where you have to do a lot, like, I think it's the last question there. So it says Miguel has 12 homework scores for his chemistry class. They're listed below, and they're already in order for you. Calculate the mean, median, and mode. Well, can I go ahead and do the mode? Which one repeats the most? 9.
9.
Which one's your median?
8.
7, 8 are the ones in the middle? Yep. So 7 plus 8 divided by 2 is a 7.5. Because those are easier. It's already in order. Okay, now let's go back and do 1 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 10 plus 10 divided by 12. And the answer is, I wait for you.
7.25.
7.25 is correct. Beautiful. Now, that's the first thing you have to do. Find the mean, median, mode from that. Then it says, hey, the teacher's going to throw out the highest and the lowest grade. So that means they're going to throw out 1 and 10.
Just one hand?
Huh?
Okay.
1 and 10. The highest and the lowest score grade. Just 1 and 1. Even though there's 2 10s. So then how many tests do I have now? 10. Now, I don't... Quick thing. Is your median going to change? Or does it increase or does it stay the same? And here they're just wanting, it's just a quick question. You don't have to be right, but do you think the average is going to change when they take out 1 and 10? Yes? Do you think it increases, decreases, or stays the same? That's the question. You think this is going to decrease?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think is going to happen to the median? Increase, decrease, or stay the same?
Stay the same. I think so.
The median?
Yes, it's.
The median's going to stay the same. Okay, stay same. And how about the mode? Stay same? Okay. So now let's actually calculate them. Because that part C says, what are the mean, median? So let's find the mean. So now I am taking away 1 and 10. Right? So, well, did somebody write down what it was? 87. So if I subtract 11, I have 76 divided by how many tests?
10.
10. So my new mean is 7.6. So did it increase or decrease?
It increased.
So if you were a student, would you be okay with your teacher eliminating the highest and the lowest grade? Because your average went up, right? So there was an actual increase here. For the median, if I take away here, are this still going to be my 2 middle numbers?
Yes.
Yes, it is, right? So this one, it is still a 7.5. And your mode is still a 9. So the mode is still a 9. So the only one that's changed was the mean, and it was for a increase. Now, there was another question and I forgot to write it down, so we're gonna put it here. Example number 5. I just realized right now. So it says, Michelle's instructor always gives a 100-point test. The mean of Michelle's first 3 algebra tests is an 89. So the average of 3 tests is an 89. They're telling you that already, right? And her 4th test score, 4th test is an 81. What is Michelle's test average after the 4th test? So what do I do?
You multiply 89 to 3.
Very good. So why are we multiplying 89 times 3? Because how many tests do I really have? 4, right? Now, you could either multiply by 3 or write down 89 plus 89 plus 89 plus 81. So you can figure out your new average. So since there's 3 and it's 89, we write that out. 81 divided by 4, my new grade should be, for her new grade, 87. Very good. Questions on that one? Yeah.
This one's.
You want to do one more?
What is it? Yes.
You want to finish? 9.6 probability, flipping a coin in a die, and marbles in a bag.
Just that Wednesday?
Oh no, I mean another lesson. Was this enough?
I know, but your Tuesday, and I see this one is so nice. So good.
I can't. I don't want to abuse your little brains.
You still coming in Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Regardless.
I mean, yeah, I don't have a review for you, so yes. It could just cut it shorter on Wednesday.
Wednesday, if we don't show up,
You don't get a review for your exam?
I'm gonna leave early, ma'am.
Okay, 9.6. That one we're actually gonna write, but it's not that bad of an assignment.
I promise she won't get kidnapped in class. How many examples are there?
I don't know, because I'm gonna wing this.
Oh, shit.
I need to come.
She's
She's
following
you.
I'll be here.
Telling you, I'm about to leave my kids with her. Probability. Huh?
I can come and join you, right?
Yes, I'll be here. Okay. Probability. The probability of an event. It is the number of successes in the event over the total possible outcomes. So, do you know what a die looks like?
Yes.
Like the dice, one of them is called a die, you know? So you have little dots on them and they go from 1 to what? 6. So if I were to ask you, what is the probability of getting a 2? How many sides have a 2 on that die? 1. So that's the number of successes. It's just one because there's only one, right? But how many possible outcomes do you have? How many sides are there? 6. So that's your answer. But if I were to ask you, hey, what is the probability of an odd number? How many odds are there on a die? 3. 3 out of how many numbers? 6. So my answer reduces to a 1/2. So that's what number of success of the events, because the event is, what do you want to happen? I want a 2. I want an odd number. Yes? Now, talking about dice, let's say you have 2, right? And I have either a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry. And I'm going to draw little lines because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let's finish with the dice. So you have 2, you roll. The smallest number you could get is a 1 and 1, and they add up to what? 2. And if I get a 1 and 2, that adds up to 3. A 3 and 1? 4. 4 and 1 is a
5.
6 and 7. If I get a 2 and 1 and 1 in the other one, that's a 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So all I'm doing is adding your dice. Like you roll, you get a 1, 6. Are we okay with those numbers that I'm writing here? So I rolled 2 dice. I got a 4 here and a 4 here. What are those add up to? That would be an 8. So this is one die. This is another one. I roll a 6 here, but I roll a 1 here. I mean, a 5 here and a 1 here. So together they add up to a 6. When I roll a 2 here and a 2 here, those add up to a 4. When I add a 2 and a 3, when I roll a 4 and a 2, when I roll a 4 and a 2 and a 7, and a 2 and a 6, 8. And the same thing going down. This would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 3 and 3, 3, 6, 6 and 3, 3 and 5, 6 and 3, 3 and 4, 3 and 5 isn't. And I don't know if you noticed, do you see these diagonals? All 7s, all 8s, all 6s, all 5s, all 4s, all 3s, and all 2s. That's the way they're supposed to be. So this is a 9, 9, 9. 6 and 4 is a 10. And then we have 11, and then the big 6 and 6, which is a 12. So these tables, they're already going to give to you in your assignment on your My Math Lab. Except they're going to say, hey, what is the probability of rolling a pair dice that rose to a, let's just say 8. Sum, and it's going to say sum of 8. What is the probability of rolling a sum of 8? Well, how many 8s do I have? 5. Out of how many possibilities are in here? 6 by 6? What's 6 times 6? 36. So it's 5 out of 36. Then it's going to say, hey, what's the probability of sums less than 5? So less than 5, does it include 5? It includes 2, 3, and 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 out of how many? 36. That reduces to what? 1, 6. So those are the type of questions. I probably like 3 questions are like this. Now I need for you to understand a die. Sometimes they don't just have 6 sides. There's some little weird ones that they say, hey, it's a 10-sided, you know? So if it has 10 sides, the numbers there go from 1 to what? 10. So if they asked you for even there, it would be 5 out of 10. So it just depends on what information they give you. Now, from here, the other questions that I saw is, let me see, with marbles. That's the other thing that I saw. Let's say I have 4 yellow, 3 red, and 6 blue. What is the probability of getting a red?
3 out of 13.
3 out of 13, right? And that's your answer. What is the probability of a yellow? 4 out of 13. Now, what if they would ask for, well, let me just do another problem. So let's say you have 7 blue, 4 red, and 5 yellow. Okay. So what is the probability of blue or yellow? Blue or yellow. Well, how many blues and how many yellows do I have? 12 out of how many? 16. Could this reduce? So this reduces to a 3/4. Are we okay with that? Yes? Awesome. Let me just check really quick. That's basically what the probabilities are. That's basically it for probability. Easy, right? See? It's what are the chances? So, before you leave, I need to make sure everybody gets my email.